Hello, beloved ones. A dear friend from my San Francisco Opera days was ordained to the Transitional Diaconate last Saturday on the 5th of December. Stephanie and I were present with him as the service was live streamed from San Francisco. If all goes well, he will be priested sometime in the summer of 2021. And Christ's own church rejoices in his call. I rejoice especially because he was with me during my ordination tumbulations. That's an invented word for life resembling the inside of a dryer full of clothing and at least one tennis shoe. He was our union representative and supported the granting of funds for the purchase of 4 handmade all-silk chasubles in the colors of the church year. You've seen one or two of them in days past. These are those vestments that go over the other robes at communion time. He and I often talked about important things, and his wisdom is present even now in the work that I do. Out of all this history together, it seems appropriate that I pass along to him the 4 chasubles at the beginning of his ministry as I move through vulnerabilities towards the end of mine. Stephanie and I have, in fact, just last Friday sent the chasubles to Colby, and we have assured ourselves that reasonable care will be sufficient to protect them for the period of transit. It should be fine, since they will be vulnerable for a relatively short time after all. It appears that I also will be vulnerable for a relatively short time. Some of you are aware that I have been in and out of hospital recently. The suddenness of the advent of sepsis a couple of weeks ago required an 8-day stay. Sepsis that probably developed from my having had surgery to biopsy some bits and pieces of my lungs that revealed themselves during my regular post-chemo checkup back in early November. As it turns out, and in the context of the living of life, these recent biopsies have exposed the return of lung cancer, which, as you may know from your experiences, is a virulent and unbeatable adversary once it reaches stages 3B or 4. And I have apparently achieved level 4. Of course. Is there a cure? No. Can it be managed? Maybe. And if so, only for a while. And of course, we do not know how long is a while. Ah, well. Stephanie and I met with the thoracic surgeon a short time ago to receive his updated and perhaps slightly more accurate assessment of the cancers in my lungs. He told us then that regardless of staging, the treatment would likely be the same whatever the stage might be, and that will involve targeted immunotherapy and other rounds of chemotherapy. Last Friday, Stephanie and I met with the oncologist specializing in lung cancers with the Novant Hospital Group. We had, as politicians often say, a full and frank discussion of our current status and of the treatment options before us. By Friday afternoon, we learned that I am to begin chemo with targeted immunotherapy on Tuesday, December 15th. That would be next Tuesday. We will cycle through the treatment regimen for 3 months or so, and then have another look to see how things are going. If the tumors diminish or are clearly being held in check, then we will continue as needed with the treatments. If the tumors do not diminish, nor do they remain under control, then of course we will have to make important life choices. These choices are, again, in the context of life, of living. Stephanie and I have been in close contact with our bishops and with all of the diocesan staff who are in a position to support not just us, but equally you, the beloved community of St. Paul's. It hardly seems fair in the scheme of things that you should be burdened with news like this. You have been and continue to be strong persons with abiding love for us and for each other. And yet it does not seem fair that you should have such news before you. Last Monday night, in a Zoom meeting with the vestry, I shared all this with them. It felt much like I was putting a lump of coal in their Christmas stockings, as it does now for you. I asked the vestry to process this difficult news in their own unique manner, and then be ready to carry on in the work they do with the power and the grace they bring to this parish. In that spirit, I do hope you will find comfort in the knowledge that things are, quote, under control. Resources for the support of St. Paul's and for Stephanie and me are being marshaled even as I speak now with you. In the next short period of time, we will be able to let you all know what our plans are for this parish community in the days ahead. It will, however, take a little while to distill out the answers to the question that may be on all your minds, which is, what does all this mean? For now, please be assured that, like the chasubles, reasonable care will surround you to protect you during this period of uncertainty. Stephanie and I are well within the context we've been given. My role is the easiest by far. She is a dear person of great strength. My daughter, too, is quite a strong young woman. She will likely be coming over from London sometime in the new year to stay for a while as things take shape and the battle lines drawn. I'm so pleased to know that both have a tremendous support mechanism populated by loving family and friends. They will be needed in the weeks ahead. You will need each other in the weeks ahead. And finally, I have promised both of them, and now I promise you, and all who may join my team, to continue in the practice undertaken from the beginning of this divergent journey. I promise that I will push back against this adversary with all my strength, with hope for the future, and with the deepest of gratitude for all the love I have been given in these times. Love is the most amazing of targeted therapies, I think. Funny that, wouldn't you say? What with all this whole Jesus thing? So, if it is a part of your expression of faith, I ask for 3 candles, please, dear ones, and the encouragement of those flights of angels when you can. I plan to continue in our conversations as time goes on, and we will do our best to keep you up to date on the various newsy bits when they pop up. From the depths of my heart, I thank you so much for everything. Those chasubles are outward and visible signs of a whole lot of love I have been given. It's wonderful to know they're heading to a warm, spiritual, and truly loving home. Blessings and love to you all, dear friends. I love you very, very much.